and the next stage of the build. Welcome to stage 3, or part 3 of building the fretless cigar box guitar, or Rolling Thunder as I call ours. So we've just put the ring in. We're getting ready now to install the 3-pole humbucker, I suppose, or 3-string humbucker is probably the easiest way to say that. And now that the humbucker is actually installed, and I always suggest that this is where I'm going to be drilling holes for the controls. Have it so that when you install these pickups that the wire's coming down instead of having to travel all the way over. That's just a little suggestion for you. All right, so at this point, we're up to the final assembly. So what you'll notice is, you remember I put that little mark here in the back of the box. Now this isn't going to get glued back here. This is going to get screwed. And ideally what should happen is that if I need to get in and replace a pickup or do something, I like to be able to unscrew most of the box. I generally don't glue my boxes together. And the simple reason is that if something goes wrong, I'd like to be able to service the guitar. So what'll happen now is I'm actually going to install the strap button in the back, and that'll basically keep everything centered until I do glue the neck, because I do glue the neck joint, glue and screw, and the top part of this section here, that's that little piece that I put in, if you remember yesterday, and this will get glued to the top of the box, but I will still be able to get a little leverage. If I need to bend, I'll be able to bend the box a little bit to actually get that pickup out if I have to, if something happens to it down the line. Okay, so there's the strap button in place, and this, of course, is where the bridge is going to go. Now, I put that little mark here a little while ago, and this is where the earth wire is going to actually go through. So run that hole through there. We're going to put a wire in. Now what I've actually put here is a piece of copper tape, and I find this helps dramatically with solving grounding issues. So you won't end up, okay, and here's a big thing for beginner builders, okay, whenever you're using an electric guitar pickup, okay, you have to ground the strings, and the only way to ground the strings, because as you can see the strings will come through the back of this particular bridge, all right. And if you don't ground the strings, you're going to get a horrible buzzing, humming sound unless you touch the strings, and then the buzz goes away, because you basically are earthing the electrical signal. You don't want to have to do that. And if someone's going to pay a few $100s for your guitar, or you're going to play it yourself, if you're not necessarily everyone who builds cigar box guitars is selling them, sometimes you want to build it for yourself. If you want to have hum-free, especially with a humbucker, operation of your guitar, please earth the strings. So this is a really easy way to do it using these. Okay, all we've done is run a hole through into the cavity down here where the pots are going to be, the volume and tone pot, and then the output jack. And all we're doing is just going to run a little wire through here. Okay, this is not a difficult exercise, but it will solve you a whole heap of problems down the line, okay? Now, if you're using an old-fashioned, like a timber style bridge, okay, you're going to have to figure out a way, and I've shown other ways of doing that, so go back and have a look at the videos. So here it is. I like to put a bit of copper in between the bridge and so I'm sandwiching the wire here through in between the copper tape and the steel bridge. All right, and this material, this chrome plating is actually conductive, okay, so it does work. All right, so we'll get a couple of these screws, we'll screw that down. I'm going to install and glue in the neck. All right, so here is most of the guitar actually assembled. All right, so the next step obviously is going to be to build a nut. So we'll make a nut. I like using nice hardwood for these. So this is all nice and strong. This is a design that I've been doing, this is based on our Lightning Boy cigar box guitar, which is a fully fretted cigar box guitar. This is one of our Rolling Thunders, as I might have mentioned before. So you notice the heel, it's got that comfort cutaway. Nice and clean, except for that one. I got a little pull out on that, and the reason I got a little tear out on that one was because I went too far with the drill bit. As I've done a little video showing how you go through one side and then back through the other side. And this one, it went through just that little bit. So although that'll get hidden by the machine head, it's not an issue, and it's certainly not a structural problem. But I do like them when they're like this. It's just really nice and clean. So I have glued on the nut. Now, a little suggestion for you: don't use wood glue to glue the nut on. I actually use CA glue, or so otherwise just good old super glue. And the reason for that is there may be a time when when you're building it, you make a mistake and you don't get your level right, or you might be too low, or you stuff something up. And if you need to take it off, it's actually very easy to take off a nut which is held on with super glue, as opposed to the wood glue. The wood glue, what I tend to find, especially if you're using a wooden nut, what'll happen with the wood glue is that it will break along, because your grain's running this way, it will actually break along the side of the grain, which you end up with a kind of a triangle piece right in here in the corner, and it's really a bugger to get out. So you just got to get in there and gouge it out. If I use super glue with this, if I have made a mistake, or if I need to replace the nut for some reason, what I tend to find is that if I put a little block of timber just here and just tap it with a hammer, it'll just come straight off. Then I can give it a clean, give it a little sand in there, put in the new nut, and everything's fine. So CA glue or super glue to do the nut, not wood glue, would be my suggestion, especially if, as I said, especially if you're using a timber nut. All right, so I've drilled 7.5 mil for the volume and the tone control, and also the 10 mil here in the back for the output jack. The next place we'll be taking this guitar will actually be to Birdwood Guitars at Katoomba, where it'll get all the wiring done, and I'll take you through that when we get there. And also, we'll put the machine heads on as well.